JJ, thanks for taking the time to be with us here on High Heat. Let's talk a bit about the season that you're off to so far. What do you think has worked well for you at the plate? And also, how much pride are you taking in against your defense? Because I tell you what, that catch against the Cardinals was pretty sweet.
Thank you, thank you. You know, I think this year it's just been simplifying a few things. You know, being on time, getting a pitch to hit, knowing what you do well, and just kind of sticking to that approach and that plan. And you know, trying to take balls the other way and utilize what the field's given you. And yeah, defensively, it's just been you know, try to get that first jump, first step, and go as hard as you can to the ball, and you know, just try to make a play.
You know, when you're running routes, JJ, defensively, how much is it instinctual versus how much is it just a skill set?
A lot of it is just instincts. You know, like if you're ever gonna, you know, go play football in the backyard and just, you know, run a route, I mean, I'd say it's just pretty similar to that, just reacting and you know, just go right to the baseball and just be an athlete. You know, I wouldn't dive too much into it, and you know, just take your shagging seriously. And you know, that's probably the best thing you can do as an outfielder, just get reps off the bat and go be an athlete.
You know, you say that that's the best thing to do as an outfielder, and you guys have some pretty solid center fielders on your roster, yet you're the main guy there. What does that mean to you to be able to be the captain of the outfield amongst a team of guys that have a lot of talent in that area?
You know, it's special. You know, I might not be the fastest guy we got in the outfield, but you know, I take pride in my routes and my decision making. So you know, it's good to have command over that and to go get all the balls in the outfield. And you know, SD Ruiz, you know, he's great to be with. Lawrence Butler, Seth Brown. I think we all have a good chemistry. We communicate really well. We back each other up, and we're always working hard to, you know, just try to make outs.
Are you finding that you're having to adjust to pitchers a lot more? It seems like the first 10 games the Athletics had, you saw a lot of fastballs, you were crushing it. Then guys kind of started throwing the breaking balls, and you're trying to adjust back to that. How much have you had to adjust in terms of that in pitch selection?
You know, not too much. You know, guys are gonna have to throw a fastball eventually, and you know, it's just kind of knowing when to sit on certain pitches, and you know, playing that game of cat and mouse, having a feel of it, watching the game, you know, just figuring out how they're pitching you right off from the first at bat. So you know, I'm always gonna be on that fastball, and then just adjust off that. So yeah, it's a learning experience for sure.
Last year at Yankee Stadium, 4 for 11, 2 doubles, a home run. You drove in a run, of course, a walk and 2 runs. Do you like playing there? Are there particular parks that you just see the ball better?
Yeah, I mean, Oakland's great. I think that the hitter's eyes, you know, it's good to see off. And, you know, just the comfort of sleeping in your own bed, too, you know, just being on that schedule and just kind of having that comfort and, you know, knowing your routine at home is always a big key. But it's also fun playing in parks like this, too. So it's just how the game flows.
First career home run came off of Luis Castillo. What do you remember about that moment?
I just remember he was throwing really hard, and it was like dotting sinkers at the top of the zone. And you know, he made a mistake, you know, bottom middle off the changeup, and I was able to put a good swing on it, and you know, just kind of blacked out right there.
Blacked out. I would imagine. You know, it's so funny. Guys say that all the time. Why do you think that is? You're just like, do you even remember running the bases?
I mean, not really. I just think it's because you're so in the zone, you're so focused on the task at hand, and it's just that's just how it goes. I mean, it's just the focus.
You have hit a home run off of some pretty key guys. I was looking at the list, JJ. Zach Wheeler, Joe Musgrove, David Price, George Kirby, Brady Singer, Tyler Glasnow, and Max Scherzer, to name a few. Is there one in particular that you remember the at-bat and you had even a little bit of an extra internal celebration when you were able to send it over the fence?
Yeah, I think it was the Max Scherzer one, and then the Wheeler one. My fiance and her family were all in right field when we were in Philadelphia, and it was just a good special moment, you know, rounding first base and kind of pointing at them just to have them and share that with them. And then you know, the Scherzer one, it's just cool because, you know, he's such a well-accomplished pitcher. He's been in the league forever, and I just remember going up before that at bat. I wasn't doing so hot probably the week prior, and I think Kotz kissed my bat or something. He's like, hey, you're going to go yard here. And I was able to actually do that, so that was pretty cool.
Well, I think you should kiss your bat every single time you step up to the plate then. I mean, if that's the result that you're going to get. Is it true that Emily said hit an opposite field home run for us because we're sitting in the stands and then you actually did it?
I think so. It wasn't oppo, but it was a pull side homer. But she did think I was going to go hit a homer that night.
All right, I love it. She is predicting that moment. Let me hear a little bit more about your upbringing, JJ. I understand your mom grew up outside of Pittsburgh. She was a Pittsburgh Pirates fan. That was your team growing up, and she was in the stands when Clemente hit his 3,000th hit. Is that correct?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
That's awesome. What was it like growing up as a Pirates fan?
It was great. I mean, the city of Pittsburgh loves their sports teams. You know, I'm a Steeler fan at heart as well. And I just think it's that blue-collar mindset and that mentality that the town brings. And, you know, they just take pride of the city itself and the communities around. And, you know, it's just a small close-knit community. And, you know, they want to win. And, you know, it was just cool watching, you know, Jason Bay, Neil Walker, you know, Pokey Reese, and all those guys growing up, and just you know, just making the was it just you know, just trying to win and bring some good times to the city itself.
Yeah, PNC Park is my favorite park, and Pittsburgh is very underrated. I love that city. Before I let you go, why don't you brag on Paul Blackburn a little bit? How well has he been pitching for you guys this season? He's off to a really nice start.
Yeah, Paul's been great. Paul's been able to, you know, take us deep into the games. You know, he's so good at changing up his pitches and getting guys off balance and getting quick outs. You know, I think that's the main thing, is getting us back into the dugout, being able to put up some runs on the board for him, and then he takes us deep into the game, and we're able to save the bullpen and get a win. But Paul's been great. He works hard. You know, he's a veteran around here, and you know, he's just a great guy on the mound.
All right, JJ Bleday, the starting center fielder for the Oakland Athletics. Thanks for taking the time, and best of luck in this 4-game set against the Yankees. We appreciate you.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.